Well, I'm here with Schools Minister Jim Knight, and Jim, I want to ask you about the national challenge. Why is it so important to the country and to Plymouth?
Well, Linda, I think it's hugely important to both. It's important just because of the skills needs of the country. We commissioned a report from Lord Leach that reported just over 2 years ago, and he told us that for every 5 unskilled jobs we have in our economy, there will only be 1 in 2020. That means we've got to raise our game if we're going to compete internationally, but more importantly, if your constituents in Plymouth are going to be able to make the most of their chances in life, we need to raise the general level of skill, and the priorities we've got around English and maths in particular, but it applies to science, it applies to the whole curriculum and also some of the soft skills. And the national challenge is about us saying to parents, by 2011 every school will be above 30% getting 5 A stars to C, including English and maths. We accept that the context that some schools are operating makes that really tough and really difficult, however good the leadership is, however hard the staff are working and however brilliant they are. And so it comes with £400 million worth of funding nationally in order to support schools in all of those sorts of circumstances.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good package. It sounds more like sticks than carrots, but that seems like a pretty big carrot to me. Why do you think that it's being seen as being government wielding the big stick?
Well, it is a challenge, and as I've said, it's a challenge for some schools. It's also a challenge to local authorities to say to authorities like Plymouth, what are you going to do to deliver for your young people, for your parents, that minimum standard, and deal with the context that some of those schools are in. And you've talked to me over a long period of time about some of the particular challenges that are faced by those schools. Now, in some parts of the media, it appeared like we were saying that every one of those schools is a failing school. That's far from the truth. We know that many of them are doing all of the right things, but they just need more specialist support from other schools, support from established leaders who've been able to crack some of the problems in those sorts of circumstances. But it might just be one-to-one tuition for pupils to just help them with their maths and just get them to break through and then be confident and sail through past their GCSEs on into post-16 qualifications.
So you know that some of the schools in Plymouth are pretty angry, and Lipson particularly, because just last week the head teacher picked up the Regional Head Teacher of the Year award, and so clearly it isn't all about failing schools. The problem is that's the way it's covered in the news. What do you think we can do to try and lift that and let people see that this is about a challenge, that it's good for us to meet, good for the young people, good for the city and good for the country?
Well, first of all, congratulations to your head at Lipson, and I remember when you took me to Lipson School, and what an interesting visit I had, and how good it was to meet the leadership team, see the excellent work that was going on in respect of teacher training, for example, at the time, and be able to talk through the circumstances and the way that he's now working with primary schools. And I think that some of the work that's going on at Lipson in terms of moving towards a trust status is part of the answer. It's that sort of collaboration.
A cooperative trust.
Yes, and that move, as you say, towards using the cooperative ethos and cooperative values, I think is really strong. Because some of the problems that a school in the sorts of circumstances that Lipson are in are about selection, and it becomes much more difficult to achieve 30% when the brightest are going off to grammar schools. But also it's about working with primaries to ensure that the young people that are coming into the school have had the best possible experience, and the transition works very well for them and for their parents. So, you know, how we counterbalance the anger that people might feel at being branded failure is dealt with by people like yourself coming to me and giving me the opportunity to just explain in a little bit more detail, as we are now, what we were really trying to say.
Well, I'll certainly be doing that, because I've been working very closely with Steve Baker, his senior management team. I'm looking forward to bringing Cooperative Trust to Lipson, and I think within a very short period of time we'll be showing not just Plymouth, not just the South West, but the country, how we can meet one of the steepest challenges there is in raising standards.